Welcome back to E3 2019, day one, everybody. I'm Andrea Renee, here on stage live with my friend Pete from Bethesda.
Hi.
Pete, I'm so glad that you came by today. It's so good to see you.
Always look forward to seeing you at E3.
I know. I feel like Pete Hines is the staple of Bethesda at E3.
Well, this is my 20th, so...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, my 20th at Bethesda, yeah. So that's a lot of E3s at one company.
Did you celebrate? Did you pop some bottles?
No. I celebrate E3 when it's over. That's my favorite part of E3.
I don't blame you. E3 is a slog. There is a lot going on.
Yep.
Of course, tens of thousands of people here in the Los Angeles Convention Center all getting their hands on a bunch of games. And you guys had a fantastic showcase on Sunday night.
Thank you.
We got to hear from some properties that we knew about, and we also got to hear about some brand new IPs as well.
We managed to keep a few surprises, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys managed to get out of the leak unscathed. That week leading up was kind of a nightmare for some people.
Yeah, that always really bothers me.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Whether it's our stuff or anybody else, like I know how hard devs work and how long they work and how, marketing folks and everybody works on stuff, and then to have somebody else sort of take something you've been working on and just release it at their whim it hurts.
Jerks.
Yeah, it's hard for folks to go through, but I thought everybody had a really good show. So leaks or not, I thought the industry looked good across all the
absolutely.
showcases.
Yeah. Some people like to think that E3 is maybe not as, crazy and exciting as it used to be. And I'm like, what are you talking about? E3 is the best. Every year I come back, I have so much fun because it feels like there's so much innovation and happening, so much new stuff always happening. And you guys at Bethesda are no stranger to that. You showcase some new IPs. So should we maybe start with those? I mean,
Sure.
we've got a lot to talk about here. So one of the things that I thought was super exciting, we got to see Mikami-san on stage from Tango Gameworks. Of course, the Evil Within, if you guys aren't familiar with their previous games at Bethesda, but they announced a brand new IP, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, and a little departure for them. Shinji obviously known for, he essentially invented survival horror with the Resident Evil franchise. And those were the first two games they did at Tango, but they wanted to do something a little different, a little more action adventure, and it's got some spooky elements, but it is definitely not a survival horror game.
So this is definitely more action based then.
Yeah, action, adventure, exploration, open world. Evil Within obviously was not, and Akumi did an amazing job of presenting.
She was the highlight of the show, I think. For me, she was so
I don't think
cute.
she was the highlight of our show. I think she was the highlight of it. She and Keanu were like 1-2 on everybody's favorite things on E3. She was wonderful. So.
No, she was fantastic. So we obviously got a little bit of a look at this game, but not too much of a look, because this game's still a little bit out.
It was just meant to be a tease, and sort of more than anything, we were trying to set a tone and a vibe for what they're creating, and honestly to set up that it is a little bit different than what they're known for, which was more sort of pure survival horror, that they were doing something a little bit different with Ghostwire.
I'm actually excited about that because I struggle with the survival horror mechanics because I want to run and gun all the time. Jump and I were talking about that a little bit earlier today. And so the slow strategy of survival horror is just...
Yeah, well, and this
the
pace of this one definitely feels different. The vibe of it definitely feels different. Does much more with the occult, much more with the supernatural, not so much with the horrifying creatures and grotesque stuff. Although, again, like, it's still Tango. They still can't help themselves to put stuff that is, a little disconcerting or whatever. But yeah, we're excited to see where they take it, and obviously excited to talk more about it. When the team's ready to show more of what they've been working on.
Absolutely. Well, that wasn't the only new IP that we got on Sunday night. Arcane, obviously up to some new stuff as well.
Yep.
Known for the Dishonored franchise, and of course Prey, one of my faves.
Yep.
And they're back with Deathloop.
This is being done by Arcane Lyon. So this is the team that did all of Dishonored and Dishonored 2, as well as the the standalone stuff around Dishonored. And it has elements of things that you know them for. I mean, you heard Dinga talk about how it's got some of the classic Arcane gameplay in terms of a lot of player agency and a player choice, but at the same time pretty different than things that they've done before. Well, stylistically, it still felt very like Arcane stylish, even though it was doing something.
From the art,
yeah, like 1970s, almost like Tarantino-esque art style. But it's I mean, I've played it. It's really fun. One of the things I love about this tease and this trailer, it gives you kind of a cool vibe, but I also assure you, like, this is not telling the whole story of what they have planned and what's coming. And I'm really excited where they're headed again. They're trying to push boundaries a little bit and do some things a little bit out of their comfort zone, but also things that they've always wanted to try and do. And Deathloop was a great chance for them to do that, to take some of what they're known for and to try some new things.
I think that's really cool because it feels like from what we've seen so far that it is pulling some inspiration from their previous work in a really great way. And I think that Arcane has such a unique style, not just, as we've been discussing, not just artistically, but also gameplay-wise as well. I feel like I'm also still a little bit confused about how this looping system works.
You're supposed to be.
Okay. Success. They confused me.
Yeah, we're obviously giving a hint at the loop factor, but without explaining exactly what's going on. That's part of the fun. It's a little bit of tease. Again, you get a tone and a vibe. You get some idea of what's going on in the game. But I feel like we would have failed if you're like, oh, I know exactly what that game is. In both cases, we absolutely tried to make sure that was not the case. We didn't want you leaving thinking, oh, I know exactly what that game is. In both cases, we wanted to show a little bit and leave a lot for later so that we can, surprise and delight.
That's fair.
But yes, to your point, if you haven't played Dishonored, if you're so like, what the hell are these two talking about? They're very big into games that are more systematic, less scripted, where there are gameplay systems running and those systems react to the choices that the player makes. So you can kind of do whatever you want and solve each situation and figure out how you want to and do a lot of really interesting creative things. And Deathloop is a game that absolutely rewards that, but not doing exactly what Dishonored is, trying to do something a little different in terms of the action and the style of it. But still, Assassins, that's obviously a thing the Dishonored team is known for. But I'm really excited for folks to see what these guys are up to.
But this is another game that we don't get to see more from for a little while.
For a little while. I don't want to give time frames.
Okay, that's fine.
Because then you'll be pleasantly surprised when it happens. But in both cases, we wanted to tease a little bit, get you interested for more, and then take the time necessary till we feel like we're in a place where we can really show off what the game's about and why we think you're really going to want to play both of them.
Oh, okay. I'll let you off the hook then, just this time. But I know a game that you guys did talk quite a bit about is Fallout 76.
Yeah.
So this obviously released last year, and you guys have been updating the game in the months since.
Yep.
And you guys talked about what the new plan is, and of course, Battle Royale is coming to Fallout 76.
Why not?
Why not, indeed?
We said the hell with it. Let's do it. Why can't we do it if everybody else gets to do it? To be clear, because people are pointing out, like last year I said, we don't have a studio working on a Battle Royale game. Well, that is still true. We are not making a Battle Royale game. This is one of 3 modes that you can play when you play 76, but it was a different take on a PvP experience than the ones that you can get playing Adventure Mode or Survival Mode. And it's very, I do things playing Nuclear Winter that I have never, people are running around shooting each other, and I'm picking locks, and I'm hacking terminals to get access to stuff. It's just different, and perk cards and all of those other things. You can still find bobbleheads and collectible items in the world that give your character boosts. It's got a lot of that Fallout flavor to it. It's not just the Battle Royale like the other stuff that It's still a Fallout game, but offering a 52-player team-based PvP that's fun and interesting and actually has story and lore to it, that as you're playing the game and as you explore the vault and you go up in rank and you become the overseer, you learn more about the story of this vault and all that stuff. So it does tie in, and it rewards you in Adventure Mode. So the experience that you get playing Nuclear Winter, you're getting stuff that when you go into Adventure Mode, you're leveling that character up, but you don't have an advantage when you go in. Somebody who just starts playing the game, and we have people who are level 200 and whatever. You don't get to bring any of that stuff in with you. Everybody sort of starts from scratch.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer, I guess, for long-time players.
Well, but the cool thing is that it really changes things up. It comes at the game from a very different angle, and it's really fun in short bursts. It's not when I play Fallout 76 4 or 5 times a week. And sometimes I sit down and play for 30 minutes. I'll do one quest thing, or I'll spend a lot of time screwing around in my camp. And sometimes I'll play for 4 hours. But this is nice little, 15-minute, like you just want to get in with some friends and have a little fun and some PvP, you can do that and not like mess with or lose any time or progression at adventure mode, that you still get to take that progress and XP with you. And folks seem to really be enjoying it. That's the best. Like, I've been watching Twitch streams and looking at the subreddit, and there's a lot of like, boy, I thought I was going to hate this, and I absolutely love it. Like, I'm having so much fun. Like that's the way I like to surprise people, to exceed their expectations, and I'm glad to see they're taking Nuclear Winter. And then obviously Wastelanders is not too far down the road with NPCs and a brand new story and all that stuff. You know, we have done a lot of work on 76. There's a lot more to do, but you know, we like where it's headed. We're pleased that our players like where it's headed, and you know, we're doing a free trial right now. If you want to see for yourself, it's free on PC, Xbox, and PS4 this week to try.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for people to jump in and kind of test the waters. I know you guys have been doing a lot of work with Nintendo, bringing your games to the Switch.
Yep.
Any chance we're going to get Fallout on Switch? It would be fun to Wasteland on the go.
Yeah, that would be a pretty big leap. I wouldn't hold your breath, but I mean, never say never, but it's not up to me. Todd and his team can figure that out.
Yeah, but they have nothing else going on over there.
They got a lot going on over there.
Speaking of Todd and Bethesda Game Studios, you guys also talked about the Elder Scrolls, clearly a franchise that you guys have been working on for quite some time. And you had some new stuff that you were talking about with Blades. Well,
and speaking of Nintendo, we're bringing Blades to Nintendo later this fall. So very excited about that. It takes advantage of motion controls. You can play it on the go. You can plug it into your TV. And perhaps, you know, I think the thing we're most excited about is that cross-platform playing progression. So if you're playing right now on your Android or iOS phone, you can play right now. When the Switch version comes out, all your progress will just show up in your Switch version and vice versa. So you can jump back and forth between the two and keep all your progression as you play.
That's super exciting. As somebody who loves playing games on my phone, the idea of being able to have that progression while I'm on my phone and then going right back, you know, to the handheld version on the Switch is like so clutch.
Well, and again, you know, like sometimes you've got time where like I just feel like playing on my Switch right now. You know, you stick it in the stand and pull out the controller and play on the Switch, but then, you know, you're at work and you're sitting at lunch and you feel like, you know, 10 minutes, I want to play a little bit of this. Like you pick up your progression from where you left it off. That is kind of fun and freeing to know that you're not losing anything by jumping into whatever version happens to be, you know, at the ready. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we can't talk about Bethesda's showing here at E3 without talking about two of the big titles that you guys showed that night. We have Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein Youngblood. Of course, they're going to be at QuakeCon, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks, too. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, we might as well start with Wolf, because Wolf comes out at QuakeCon. It actually launches the Thursday of QuakeCon. So let's start with Wolfenstein.
All right, Wolfenstein. This game looks incredible. I mean, who doesn't want to play as these badass twins, right?
Yep. Well, it's set 20 years after the new Colossus. So when we last left BJ and Anya was very pregnant with twins. They have been born and are now grown up, and Youngblood tells the story of them trying to find BJ, who has disappeared in Nazi-controlled Paris. And these two, who have grown up to be Nazi ass-kickers, are going to go looking for him and bring him back. And so it's a game you can absolutely play solo. Don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. You can play the whole thing by yourself, and the other sister will be controlled by the AI. And you still get all the story and everything else, but they wanted to try something playing as twins. Like, well, what if you want a friend to play as that other sister? And so you totally can. You can play a co-op online and play through the whole campaign together and have friends jump in and out as you want. It's super fun.
It's also very precarious, and I say that because I had the amazing opportunity to try out this co-op build with my dear friend Christine Steimer, who works with me at What's
I heard
Games.
About this, by the way. This made it back to the office when I said, hey, how did it go? Andrea Renee and her hooting and hollering and yelling during the co-op play
we were
did make it back
at
to me.
Each other. I
yes,
was like,
you were.
I was revive me, I'm dying. It was such a blast to play too, and like I could not believe how fast-paced it felt.
It still feels like I mean, you know, Wolfenstein still has very much of an id, grounded, visceral, right? I mean, it's not for the meek. Like BJ kills Nazis in bad ways, and Youngblood does not shy away from that at all. but you don't lose any of that in the co-op play, that it's still really visceral and sort of aggressive and moving forward, but getting to do that with a friend or a co-op companion, it hasn't lost any of that sort of speed and feel.
Yeah, I just love how each of the sisters feels different.
Yep.
How they have this different skill set, and so you really get to kind of decide which play style you want and figure out like which of the different mechanics that each of them employ that works better for you.
Yep.
Did you have a favorite of the two?
No, honestly, I don't. Like, I like sort of, we jump in and you know, some people in our office are like, oh, I want to play for. I'm just like, I don't care. You just pick who you want, and I'll do the other one. Because even though they have different styles, you're not really like boxed into like, oh, I can only do this. You know, it's a different approach, but you can still sort of play the way you feel comfortable. But they're distinct enough from each other that I don't feel like it doesn't matter which one I'm playing, because they all do the same things. Like, well, no, they have slightly different. They have different skill sets and different ways of approaching things.
So if I wanted to play through the game twice, one as each sister, am I going to kind of experience it differently, or is it a lot of the same content?
Well, certainly the way that you play as that sister is probably going to feel different as you're improving their skills. Like, you're going to, as you said, maybe take on a different role, like be a little bit more tank or up front, or maybe hanging back a little bit and maybe doing some more sniping. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that will change a little bit. But the story is not like, oh, if you play as this sister, you go off on this complete. Like, it's still. But it's also not. It's not meant to be as linear as Wolfenstein. Although in New Colossus, you got to sort of pick and choose the order of things that you want to do. But this is not A to B to C exactly in this order. You get a little bit of choice in terms of the order in which you're going to play stuff.
Well, that's good to know, because I got to be honest, I just don't have time to play the game twice.
No?
Well, maybe after I play Doom.
Yes.
Speaking of which, we got to talk about Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
What a crazy demo that you guys showed. This game, you know, obviously everyone knows id means fast,
Yep.
right? Super powerful. You don't take cover. It's just run and gun the entire time, and this did not disappoint.
Nope. I mean, we showed up more the single player, because obviously, you know, people love the single player in Doom 2016. Lots of awards and accolades for it. So we wanted to double down on that and show folks like even more of what you loved. A lot of stuff that, you know, we're trying to move things forward with number of demons and the variety and all of that stuff. And then getting to tease the multiplayer, which is, I mean, you know, Marty wasn't exaggerating. It is so different from anything else that I've played. It's one of my favorite things to do, but playing as a demon. I'm a crappy Doom Slayer.
Oh,
I'm getting
what?
old.
You?
My reflexes suck. my hair is getting gray. My reflexes are going away. But you put me in the role of a demon against somebody as good as Marty Stratton, and like I give him a serious run for his money. Like the way that is balanced to be like I don't have to be as quick or as twitchy. I'm more strategic and sort of boxing him in and keeping him from doing what he wants and choosing the right moment to use certain powers and abilities and combining with the partner. You want to talk about yelling, like you do that in Wolfenstein.
Oh my gosh.
Man, in the Doom multiplayer, when you got two folks playing as demons and trying to coordinate against the Doom Slayer, who's still as fast and as powerful as ever, and you're getting to control a demon and spawn in other demons and use different abilities I mean, I'm telling you, it's so fun. I can't wait to show you guys more at QuakeCon.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see more. I mean, the demos are always so exciting, and the QuakeCon audience is just, there's an energy about it that is unlike anything else.
Absolutely.
I mean, just like being in the BYLC with all of the kids and their cool loadouts and like all of the gear that they bring.
Yeah, it is definitely probably the most family feeling event that you'll ever go to, right? I mean, you're talking about people who have been coming to QuakeCon. Next year will be 25 years of QuakeCon. These people have been coming to this show for literally decades, and you know, they went from, you know, having babies to now their kids are coming to QuakeCon, and it definitely has that feel when you bring something like this that they're so excited and passionate about. I mean, I don't want to use religious, but like it, you know, if you were there if you were there for Doom Eternal last year, like that was a pretty religious experience. Those people were just crazy. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it always is a ton of fun. Now, while we were chatting, I think I found a way that you might be able to beat Marty in multiplayer. You just got to make him play with controller, and then you can play with mouse and keyboard and have a distinct advantage.
No, it turns out Marty is super good on any control thing. Yeah, but he and I had a match with one of my colleagues from marketing that was back and forth. And I mean, it was literally, we lost to him by like a half of a second. Like I put a
Oh,
thing
that's
down
rough.
and left the tiniest little space for him to get through. And we were talking for 10 minutes afterwards, just excitedly about you did this and then we did that, and like he was like, oh, I was so screwed and then I had to do this just to get. It was so much fun, and again so different. You know, the Doom multiplayer that we did for 2016 was done outside of id and was much more sort of player versus player, and they just wanted to take a very different approach and sort of double down on this idea of demons and the Doomslayer fighting, and like how much fun it could be to play as a demon and come at the game from a different angle.
Well, I mean, it has this amazing history of innovating in the first-person shooter space. So,
Yep.
of course, it makes sense that they're the ones to want to try something new and different within that space and say, hey, we want to push the boundaries of what you think you know, not only about id, but also about Doom.
Yep, for sure. And I think they really hit on something that feels very fresh and unique. And I mean, I'm here to tell you, folks are going to love it.
Well, we definitely are looking forward to seeing more. Before I let you go today, because it's been so lovely chatting with you, I want to ask you, I mean, there was obviously still so much that we weren't able to cover, but what else from the conference were you personally really excited about finally getting out into the hands of gamers?
Well, obviously, Elsewhere is, for Elder Scrolls Online is literally a week old. We're just a week into that launch. But how that community continues to grow, you know, Matt made a comment that I think is much more amazing than the way he gave it, which is like we've been adding servers just to keep up with the number of new players. I mean, this is an MMO that's an online game that's been out for years, and the number of people coming to it is amazing, and how much fun they're having. And the Season of the Dragon obviously is a big part of that. You know, as we highlighted in the showcase, like, hey, people love dragons, but it's great to see how that community has continued to grow and evolve, and it's a really welcoming, fun community. So really pleased with how Elder Scrolls Online is coming along. You know, Elder Scrolls Legends, you know, is a thing that's near and dear to my heart as a big strategy card guy and somebody who's worked on the Elder Scrolls for 20 years. To see the pace of content, you know, it's one of the things. This game has been out for a couple of years. Last year we really didn't get a whole lot of new cards out, and it was kind of disappointing for us as we made this transition. But now with a new client and putting out content every couple of months, and how much that community has continued to grow, and how excited they are. They're like, oh man, we actually finally get lots of new cards, has been great. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with where we're at. We talked about it some, but I'm really happy with how 76 has continued to evolve. You know, we're learning a lot on Blades, and that team is adding lots of new stuff. We just added a big update this week, and lots more planned, including PvP and lots more content coming. So, you know, I think we're in a good place, and we're going to continue to keep trying to get better at what we do, which is make games that people love.
Well, you're definitely not failing at that, so congrats, you did
Thank you.
it. Well, I'm looking forward to E3 next year when maybe we'll see Starfield. Fingers crossed.
Listen, my fingers are crossed as much as yours. I make my life a lot easier if he decides.
Over there. Tell Tom
you know
to
what,
get on top of it.
After 2 decades, it turns out he still doesn't listen to me as much as you might think. But
yeah,
we'll see what he has planned.
I believe you there. I've met that guy more than once. Well, Pete, this has been so great to have you. Thank you so much for coming by the Facebook Gaming stage today, and enjoy the rest of your E3. And we will have tons more content for you guys live from E3 2019. Stick with us. We'll be right back.